You're on.
So Jamie has asked me to go over a lot of the sales scenarios that you're going to probably encounter out on the floor. So we're also filming this. So hello, future Bills employees, welcome to Bills, and hello, current Bills employees, welcome to Bills. So I'm going to start. This is just kind of my guide. There's some things that she gave me to talk about, but I'm sure we'll get off on a tangent quite a bit. So the first thing on there is, as she puts, is what are the leading questions I can ask a customer to help them out when they come in. Well, if you go to sales school, like I have about 100,000 times, the first thing they tell you is what you don't go to a customer when they walk in. You want to guess what it might be?
Could you rephrase that?
Yeah. What's the way you don't approach a customer to start a conversation? Well, in sales schools, they're going to tell you, don't say, "Hi, may I help you?"
Okay.
That's the worst. Because most of the time, what's a customer going to say?
No.
No. And then you're done. There's nowhere to go from there.
Okay.
So you're always trying to engage a customer, and not only that, it puts them on the defensive. What's people who I hate it when people come up and ask if they can help me. You heard it a million times. So you try to start engaging a conversation. I don't make it that big of a deal. I don't all of a sudden ask them about their family history or hey, how the kids or anything like that. For me, it's pretty much hey, hello, how you doing? Or sometimes I'll say, can I point you in the right direction? Sometimes you see them walk in here every day and they look like they're starstruck. They go, oh wow, oh my goodness, you know. And I go, can I point you in the right direction? My father used to say, hey, what instrument do you play? You know, something like that. Anything just to kind of take the defense away a little bit, get them relaxed, and hopefully start a conversation. But the walk up is, hi, I'm Matthew, may I help you? Is something you almost never want to do if you can. Always just try to start a conversation. So don't get even though it sounds like the salesmanship 101, avoid that if you can. Sometimes a simple hello is all you got to do. Hey, good morning, how you doing today? That's about all I ever do for the most part. And then if they want you, they're going to tell you they want you. And most people do want you.
This is great because I've watched a few videos on sales on YouTube, and you know there's differentiating opinions on things. So I've always wanted to get your opinion on these things.
Well, if I'm great on only line one, just think how much better it's going to get. Anyway, so try to avoid that one. And then the next question Jamie wants to ask, before we go right to price match. Well, the first thing they're going to want to do, I think I'll skip the outline, is they are going to tell you kind of what they're looking for. And the best thing you do when you're out there selling is you just listen. They're going to tell you where they want to go. Sometimes they don't even know where they want to go. But they're going to tell you, you know, their story about little Johnny over here, and he was watching MTV the other day, and now he wants to be a rock star, and he's looking for his first guitar. And you might say, well, you're looking for your acoustic, or you want to play electric, or what songs you like. And then they're going to guide you where you want to go. Some people don't know what they're here looking for. Sometimes they're in cable land over there. They don't have any clue about what kind of cable that they need, or they're in PA land, and they're just not sure what they're going to do. They know they want people to hear them, but they don't want to have any idea how they're going to hear them. So when they get started, just for a little while, just listen. Just listen to what they're doing. And then also, you always want to ask them their name. Okay, well, I'm Matthew, and who are you? And I see George does it every time, just automatically. He walks in, the first thing he does is put his hand out and says, hey, my name's George. That's probably just from working with people in the business in general for the last however many years you've been doing it. But always start out, hey, and before you even get started, hey, okay, well, let me go show you some guitars. By the way, I'm Matthew, what's your name? You always want to be on a first name basis with your customer. People buy, you've heard this a million times too, probably, from people they like. So if they like you off the bat, that you're relaxed to them, they're going to like you, and you're going to start having a good relationship with them. So always get your name out there. I don't know about handshakes anymore. It used to be always do a handshake. Now you got a fist bump or shoulder tap or whatever. But anyway, maybe just skip that part. But the name is the most important thing. So you get them over there, and then you start talking about your things. There's a lot of different ways once you get them to the counter, and you're always trying to get them to the counter. Don't forget, that is the goal here. You're not trying to talk too much, or you're trying to figure out what they need, narrow it down as best you can. You don't want, if you're out there showing bases, you don't really want to pull 8 bases off the rack. If you can try to figure out about which price range you think they're in, don't ask how much you're trying to spend. Just start somewhere, start a little higher. And if they say, well, I'm not going to spend that much, and you can always move your way down. It's a little bit harder to move up. So I've always taught, start with something a little bit better and let them move you down. But if you start with a $299 Ibanez base, and they love their $299 Ibanez base, which they probably will, but you're not going to get them up to the $499 base too easily. So start a little bit higher, work your way down. They'll tell you your price point. Don't be pulling too many bases out on the rack. Don't be sitting with them the entire time. You do that a little bit.
I do. I do all of this.
They don't need to. Sometimes they want a little room to breathe. Put it in your hand. Sometimes they might want to talk to you the whole time, and then you need to. But sometimes you might just say, hey, you take your time, check this out. I'll be back in a couple minutes and see how you're doing. And then whatever question you come back, how we doing? You like to feel that one? How about the color? You know, you want to try any of the other ones? Maybe the answer is no. Maybe they say I'm ready to go. But you don't need to just plant yourself at an amp and sit next to them the whole time. Number one, we're kind of busy sometimes, so you don't have time to do that. Number two, it crowds them. You want to let them breathe a little bit. You don't want to be down their neck. So just let them play along or let them do their thing, and then stop back. Don't leave them. And just be gone. Just come back and say hi and say how we doing, and then whatever questions they have. Okay. Once you get them sold, don't forget your add-ons. We were just talking to me and George about add-ons yesterday. Don't be so excited that you sold your $299 base that you forget that they might need to have a $49.95 gig bag to go with it. That they might need a snark tuner. That, oh my goodness, they might need a cable or a strap. All that stuff's important, and frankly, you're doing them a favor because they don't know that. You know, you get somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. They get home with their new guitar. I'm on guitars today, and they can't get it tuned. But you could have sold them a snark. Well, thank you for selling them that snark. They will. So make sure they have everything they need to want to go out. They want you to. You know, it's important to them. And don't cross over my camera. New employees, this is give.
Pause it.
I can go
No.
this way.
No.
That's fine. I'll go this
No, just go around this way. There's my camera. There you go. So anyway, don't forget your add-on stuff. You know, just because you made your one sale, don't be satisfied with that. Keep going in. It's not like you're being a sleazy salesman or a car salesman. You're just getting them what they need. You know, Taylor bought a bass a couple months ago, and I'm sure Taylor's happy she has a strap and a cable and a tuner so she can tune it up or whatever she got along with it. So anyway, when you get to the counter, we have a gazillion ways to pay. You probably haven't seen them all yet, but we have a gazillion ways to pay. Taylor, how many can you name, do you think? Tough question, I know. Somebody's been here a week.
Cash, card, I know you guys do checks and then you do the credit stuff.
We love cash. Don't see it very often anymore, but we love it. 90% of the people use credit cards that come in. You're right, we see checks. We don't see many checks anymore either. Nobody uses checks anymore. So that, of course, is the easy ones. And then we have our finance programs. We have three main ones that we use. The bills charge, the actual bills charge is through Synchrony Bank. And the bills charge is, once they get approved for it, it's a 6-month no interest plan that they can pay however they want. There's no rule. If it's $600 item, they don't have to pay $100 a month or anything like that. So, busy office this morning.
You're okay working in here?
No. I mean, for a minute, but you can't clean in here right now, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, so the Synchrony card, it's 6 months. So what they have to pay per month, a minimum, is 4% of the sale, or $25, whichever is higher. So if they pay, if they come in and buy something that's $1,000 on their Synchrony card, they've got to pay a minimum of $40 a month, and that's the minimum. But the trick is they have to get it paid off within 6 months, any way they want. They can pay 40 a week, they can pay 40 the first month, 40 the second, 40 the third, 40 the fourth, and 40 the fifth. But you better get it paid off within the 6. If you don't, they knock you with 29% interest on the whole bill. So it costs them $300 on that $1,000 sale if they don't get it paid. You don't have to talk about that. I never say you never use numbers like that. But say get it paid, just keep telling them, get it paid off within 6 months, get it paid off within 6 months. If they don't, they'll figure out what happens to them. If they don't, you told them. So the Synchrony card is the most popular card. Then what happens is, once you get approved for it, they go on their way. In about a week, they're actually gonna get an actual physical Synchrony card, and people use them all the time. They love them. They can come in and put a set of strings on their Synchrony card. They can come in and put a cable on their Synchrony card. Doesn't make any difference. And it's just like a little Visa card to them. And it only works in one place, and that's here. So it says Synchrony, and it says Bill's Music House with their name on it at the end. So we're dying to get Synchrony cards in people's hands. Sometimes they get big credit limits. I got a guy yesterday, he got $5,000. So now he's got this Synchrony card he's gonna have in his pocket, and he's gonna know he's got $500,000 in musical instruments he can come in and buy just by swiping that card. And it just eats at you, you know, and you kind of want to use it, especially in this business. You know, when you have your Visa, it's just your Visa, you know, but when you have your musical instrument card, you've really been eyeing up that bass, and you spent $300, but you know you got 5,000 sitting in your pocket. It eats at you, and you do tend to use it. So Synchrony is one of our financing programs. It's also the toughest credit check. So you have to have pretty good credit to get approved for Synchrony. Not everybody gets approved for Synchrony. They also have other programs. They do more than 6 months. They do 12, 24, 48, but what they charge us is too much. So we only use the 6-month program for that. That's for Synchrony. Now sometimes you're gonna see emails come through for me where Taylor, for example, right now, and so does Martin, I think, has, and we have signs up on some of the guitars, 12 months no interest. That's because Synchrony and Taylor have worked together to get the rate down and to help their guitars fail. So Taylor basically pays the interest on that. So you'll see some manufacturer promotions. We try to keep a chart up where Tracy and Jamie and Lindsay said, and to show what they are. I think right now it's just Taylor and Martin, if I remember correctly. So you will see, so there are some manufacturer specials going on with those. And they're great. I mean, I think Taylor might even have one that's 24 months right now if it's over $1,000. So that's, you see car dealerships all the time.
I thought it was
24 months, no
36
interest.
months.
Was that?
I thought it was 36 months.
Maybe it is.
with
I
Taylor.
forget what it is. It might be. It might be 36 months. I sent one out a few weeks ago because they're just trying to make sales, And if you're out there and a guy's hemming and hawing on a $3,000 Taylor, now you realize he can pay it off in 36 months, no interest. He might just jump on that. That's a close.
Yeah.
So that's
Real
one
good.
way of getting that. Say it's something in your toolbox that you might want to pull out. That's a good one. So that's Synchrony, and you'll see some manufacturer promotions. There's even a little button you got to hit. Is this a manufacturer's promotion? And the answer is yes. And so we love getting Synchrony cards in people's hands. Even if they don't buy anything, we like getting a Synchrony card in people's hands because I guarantee you get them a card, they're going to use it one day. They're not going to never use it. The second one we have is Bread. Bread is pretty much done online, pretty much. But Bread is for people that have a little less, well, it's good for 2 reasons. I shouldn't have said that. Number one, if they do need 36 months to pay, maybe they're spending $4,000 and they need to do it in over 6 months. Bread will take these long-term deals. It doesn't make any difference to us because they're paying interest. It's not no interest. So Bread will take longer deals, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever. Then number two, Bread is a little bit less stringent on the credit check. And what they do is they tailor the person's payments and the amount of interest. Just like if you go buy a car. If you have really good credit and you go buy a car and your credit's great, they give you a nice low financing rate and here's your payment. But if you don't have the greatest credit, you can probably still buy that car, but you got to spend a lot more interest. That's what Bread is. So the way Bread works is they pretty much do it on their own. There's really no application that you guys ever take. Bread, you can either just go on billsmusic.com and buy it on Bread. What happens is it shoots up, you've been approved for this amount of money, and then you put in what you want, and it tells you exactly how many months for how much your payment's going to be. And it gives you like option A, B, and C. The customer clicks the option, and that's it. So they can just do it on billsmusic.com, and they find and figure out who the people is when they send them a text message to their phone. We've got to verify we've all paid a bill where they send a text message to your phone, and you got to put in your code and all that. So that's how they get with the customer. Or you get your sale together a little bit, maybe put it in AMZ and then save it. You can suspend the sale. I don't know if you guys see it in that, but just print it and then turn it into one of the girls up front, Tracy or Jamie or Lindsay, the ones that had to do it, and they send the fella an invoice or a Bread cart, and then they get the Bread card. So stuff's already in there what they want, and they put their name, their social, and put in their code, and then see for exactly the Bread cart that you sent them, whether or not they're going to get approved, and then how much their payment's going to be, and then if they just basically hit enter, the Bread card's paid. So
We do the application for Synchrony for them though, right?
we do the application for Synchrony. If you got somebody on the phone, you can send it. You can send them an application. For Bread, they just go to billsmusic.com. For Synchrony, they can just go to billsmusic.com.
Oh.
But there is a way to email or text an application for Synchrony. So if they're not here, if they're here, you've done it before now, and it's a pretty quick, easy application. Just knock it out real quick. And then finally, there's Snap. Snap is government food stamps gone retail. That's what it is. I forget what SNAP stands for, but supplemental nutrition,
And
it's something like that. Supplemental and stands for nutrition. I forget. But anyway, Snap is for people with bad credit. Snap is, and people use Snap all the time because they just don't have any other option. We are literally the only music store in the country that takes Snap. If you go to their website, you will not see a single music store that takes Snap online like we do. So we get a lot of people call us because they see from all over the place,
Cool.
see that they use it. And we get a lot of orders from Snap because they do it. They don't do a credit check on you on Snap. They just assume your credit stinks. So there's no real credit check on Snap. What they do is you have to give them your bank account information. So you ever seen these high interest loans you can get online? And what they do is they get all your bank account information. They verify your bank account. Somehow they must verify if there's funds in there. I don't know if they do that or not, but at least verify that it's good, it's active, it's being used. And then they just literally pull the money out of your bank account every so often. You don't even pay them.
Right.
They just literally come and get it. So it's people with low credit. You need to get it paid off in 100 days. And if so, the interest rate on it isn't so bad. But when you're talking to Snap with people, you kind of got to, whether they do it or not is not our problem. But you talk to them about, you want to get this paid off within 100 days. So when they get their Snap on their phone or on their email, they show you the piece you're buying is $600, get it paid off within 100 days, and you might pay $750. Still ain't easy. But if you don't get it paid off within 100 days, it's crushing the interest. It's like 150%.
Yeah.
So,
150.
yes,
Might even be more.
not even more.
Wow.
Just like these high interest loans are when these people, so we talk to them, but it doesn't matter because they do it. We might use Snap more than any of the three, just believe it or not.
Wow.
Because just for people they want it and they don't have any other options. And if they can get it paid off in 100 days, it's not so bad.
Sometimes you might have to go down the
Doesn't
line.
help their credit. Doesn't do anything because they only pull your credit. But Snap's the third one. Again, if you go on the Snap page, you can text somebody the Snap application. Again, it's something they do all on their own. And different states are different because there are rules on these high interest loan type programs. But a lot of states, majority of them, once it's all approved, they send you a virtual Discover card. It's a card you can use one time for your Bill's Music Snap card. That's it. But it's a Discover. So you'll see if they got approved, you say, hey, did you get your virtual Discover in the mail? In your email. Sometimes it goes to the junk email even from Snap. But and sometimes they have trouble pulling it up. Sometimes I even have trouble pulling yours up. So, but that's what they get. They get a virtual Discover card, and then you just take it like a Discover. That's all you do. You bring it in like a Discover. They'll have it on their phone. Just type in a number. Good to go. And then same thing online. They'll go online and they'll put in the Discover number. That's how most Snap applications happen. However, there are some states that don't allow you to send a virtual card, and sometimes they just have trouble. They're not good enough on their computer, frankly, to be able to get it pulled up. And then what happens is we just send them an invoice via Snap, and then they just look at the terms and click the payment. So they're all three good. So you're gonna make more of your high-end sales, more than you think, on credit. Most people just aren't whipping out their card for $2,500. People need credit to buy, and people just in this country just are used to using credit to make purchases. So you got to get good at those snaps, breads, and synchronies. They're all on billsmusic.com. Can't do much, and there are some training videos on some of them that I don't know if you've seen or not, any of them, but there are some training videos that I think we're going to set you back up here, and it shows you right from Snap how to all the application, what they do, and all that stuff. So I think we're going to put those on one of these days in the near future, so you can see how they work. But you want to get good at your credit. You'll never be a good salesperson if you can't talk credit. You have to be able to talk credit. The next one we use, which has nothing to do with credit, but it's Podium. We've been answering lots of Podiums. I know you've answered Podiums. I know we answer Podiums. I don't know if you've answered a Podium or not, but Podium is our texting service. We get Podiums every day for questions and texting. But if somebody's not here, they can pay whatever the bill is via Podium. So let's say Johnny's here, but Grandma wants to make the payment. Used to be we'd get the credit card out and write down the number and verify that it's actually Johnny's grandma's credit card. We don't do any of that anymore. Now it's just a matter of you get whoever's going to pay for its phone number. We send them out a Podium invoice. They can pay it with a credit card. They can finance it through Podium. Podium takes a firm, which if you ever bought anything on Reverb, is the credit company of Reverb.
Firm, okay.
And Podium takes that. You might have seen it if you ever just looked on Reverb. So they can finance something on Podium if they want. Those people don't, but people do. And so anyway, so if somebody's not here or somebody's on the phone, so say, man, I really want to get this. I can't be in there till Monday. Let me send you a Podium. And then you'll get a bill, it'll be paid for, you put it behind the counter and come pick it up wherever they want. We do a Podium every single day. Every day a Podium happens. And that's what, of course, it's not just bill pay, but it's also texting. It's how we get in touch with our customers. But you can have them pay right over the phone via Podium, and they can do a check, they can do a credit card, they can finance it, they can do whatever they want. So Podium is a great method of payment. We also take PayPal. Some people ask if you take PayPal, and we do. You have to send what's called a PayPal invoice, and then when they get an invoice into the PayPal, they either click to pay it out of their PayPal account, or PayPal has 6 months no interest too. I forget what they call it. PayPal, I forget. But anyway, same thing. If they have a PayPal, people finance via PayPal. So there is a gazillion ways of buying besides cash, credit, and check. And you gotta get good at them. Absolutely have to get good at them. We'll got some training videos on all three. Alright, what else did Jamie have on there? Does Bill's price match? Not much of an issue anymore, to be honest with you. What's out there now is called minimum advertised pricing. So if you're looking at a, I don't know, Fender Player Stratocaster, they're $849 at Bill's Music House, they're $849 on Amazon, they're $849 at Sweetwater, and everywhere you look, they're $849. Because manufacturers, now that everybody's online with their pricing, come out with what's called minimum advertised pricing. It means you cannot advertise it lower than that. And they have these electronic watchdogs that go through all the stores' websites. If we have one where the price went up $20 and we weren't compliant, we'll get an email that says you're not compliant, change it now, you got 24 hours. So pretty much everybody is the same price. Back in the day, before the internet, people would go to this store and this store and this store and try to get the price down. They'd come in with a quote from another store and you'd have to look at it and decide, what you want to do. But you don't deal with that too much anymore, pricing, which is good in a way.
Yeah, it's nice.
And it's nice, except the fact that you can't sell a little higher if you wanted to, because you can't be lower than MAP because you're not allowed to be, and you can't be higher than MAP either. If the whole country and world is $849, you can't be $859.
Yeah.
And there was a day we were $859. When, finally, we always thought we were a little bit value added. We added things like the repair shop and the lessons and the big selection and all that stuff. So we tended, back in the day, to be just a smidge higher, just a smidge. Most people didn't notice, but sometimes if you were $7.99 and the rest of the world was $7.79, we might, and then of course we'd match the $7.79 if we had to. But those days are over, so pricing isn't much of an issue anymore. You're gonna get things like, well, first of all, you're always gonna get, can you go any lower on this piece? And it's a pretty simple answer. No, I can't, sorry. And that usually ends it right then and there. And maybe they'll have some kind of reason why you think you'd have to. We had a djembe the other day that had a big gouge in it. All right, we might have to talk about that one a little bit. But people are going to ask, just because people in this business especially, nobody goes to Walmart and says, hey, can you do a little bit better on this shirt?
Right.
Or they don't go to Best Buy and say, hey, can I get this Dell computer for a little bit less? Doesn't happen. But in the music business, people were trained to do that for many, many, many years. Doesn't happen that much anymore. And the answer is just usually, no, I wish I could, but I can't. That's it. And it usually ends it, but you'll get it. Now, if there's a good reason, or somebody's being a little tough and you want to come get me and say, here, this Mr. Jones here thinks this should be a little less, and have a good reason why, but just he wants the price left. There's nothing I'm going to do.
Sometimes I feel like I know what the answer is going to be. I just
You do
need
know
to
the answer
run
gonna
it by you just to hear
No.
you tell me.
Well, don't run it by me. I don't want people running up to me, can I go lower in this, can I go lower in this, can I go lower in this? I'll be tougher on you than the customer will.
Okay.
But if there's a legitimate reason,
Right.
like we had at the djembe the other day, there's always some. But if the customer just goes, hey, can I get this for a little lower?
Right.
The worst thing you can do is say, let me check.
Right.
And the reason being is then you've got their hopes up. They know it's possible, because if it's not possible, you wouldn't check. You just say, no, I can't. We can't do that. Almost like, are you kidding me? No, we can't. The prices are everybody's the same. So, no, let me check. No hesitation. No stumbling over your words. Just, no, I can't. Sorry. It's the only one that's hard to get. That's true too. So you don't deal with that too much anymore. So I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Trade-ins versus selling gear. You guys have seen me enough now. I sit there on that red podium and I buy stuff pretty much all day long. People are selling, which is great because we love the used stuff. Without the used stuff, we probably wouldn't be a big store like we are today. Because when you sell $299 Boss Katana amp, it's really not that exciting. You don't make a whole heck of a lot on it. They tell you what you got it sold for, they're telling you what you're paying for it, and whatever they give you in the middle is what you get. And it's not that exciting for the most part. But when you sell that used $299 Katana amp, then I decided what we paid for it and what I priced it at. And it's always a lot better. So we are known throughout the area, big area, as a place to take your used stuff. Try to take almost everything. There was a day where we had a rule. If they bring it here, you buy it no matter what it is.
Wow.
We had to finally put the kibosh on that a little bit. You can only buy so many passive PA speakers. The world only needs so many clarinets. So there are some things that we just find. So I don't buy. I'm a little more picky. Plus, it's kind of a buyer's market. There are so many people desperate out there. So much gear for sale that I can be a little picky and try to get it. But if it's a good piece that I know I'm going to sell, then boom, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it doesn't walk out that door. Not always successful, but you're pretty much always successful. People sell. If they're here, they need the cash for whatever reason. So we're getting new stuff every day. We clean it as best we can. We price it. We figure out what the market price is. We don't try to be too high. We sort of knows we don't want to leave any money on the table and be too low. So we try to use Reverb and eBay and just, luckily there's so many stuff for sale. You can kind of get an idea what everything's selling for. And then we're right there on the top of what the market value is going to get. So we try hard. We get emails for used all the time. We got our 500 guitar poster out there. And we're always trying to get people to bring in used stuff. So I'm buying all day. Everybody makes more money when we sell used. We love used. So used is a big, big part of what we do. If this store was nothing but new equipment, all white signs, wouldn't be here. Just wouldn't be here. Have to have the used stuff. And people come in knowing we have used stuff all the time. First thing if somebody asks me for something, first thing I think in my brain is, see if I got a used one. But if you do, you won. If they want a DS88 Roland keyboard and everywhere is $11.99. You've got this nice clean one out there. It looks great. It's $8.99. I'm telling you they're going to buy it, and nobody else has it. You're the only one who's got it. So we love our used stuff for many different reasons. Gives us products to rent that aren't new that we have less money in, and then so used is good. And then most of your sales, frankly, as they get good, they're going to bring in trade-ins all the time. They're bringing in trade-ins. And right now, I know you guys are taking in trade-ins. Maybe the day will come. But there's a real art to taking in trade-ins. But there's something to be said of the salesman not being the person who takes in the trade-in. When you go trade in your car, if you ever have, whoever's trying to sell you your new car is not the guy that gives you your trade-in price. You get first in a car business, the first thing they do is they say, okay, is that your trade-in? All right, we'll leave that part now. Let's see what you're looking for. And that's what a job to you guys as a salesman is, go out and sell them something. So if somebody has a trade-in, I'll say, okay, we'll go out and show them whatever they're looking for, and I'll be working on their trade-in. I'm not really working on trade-in. I'm just sitting, putting it behind the counter until the time comes. So the idea is, you get them excited about the new sale. Oh my God, they got this new guitar. It looks great. This is the one I really want. I'm really excited. Oh yeah, I got my trade-in. They don't care about as much about their trade-in once they're excited about the new thing. If the first thing you start with is the trade-in price, well, that's all you're focused on is the trade-in price, and they're not gonna love it. Okay. So you always want to just, hey, I'm gonna go out and show Bobby here some drums. He's got this trade-in over here. Can you look at that while I'm doing that? Absolutely. I know what you mean. I'll go out and sell them the drums, get them excited, get it all ready, and then right at the end, a trade-in is a method of payment. That's how they're gonna help pay for it. And that's why we want to take it. A, we want the trade-in, and B, we want to make the sale. Not every store takes trade-ins. So, on a trade-in, when they bring it in, get them out there and just start selling them. That's your job. And then I'll come in kind of as the bad guy, I'm like, okay, you did a great job. I'm excited about this new set of drums, but I got a load of boom, and the trade-in is not worth what they want it to be. And it's never what they want it to be. Nobody ever gets their trade-in or sale price says, yes! Never. Oh man, I thought I'd get more. Oh man. And I go, I wish I could, but I got so many of these. They're coming in every day. I got the speech in my head, and I don't even have to hit a button in my head. I don't have to think about it. So you're going to get trade-ins. Most people are not just buying stuff without trade-ins these days. Number one, there's so much product out there. People just have tons of products. So we want to give them a place to land their trade-ins. There are very few trade-ins we won't take. Almost will take everything, even if that means I got to take something that I just don't want for $25. Well, it's like making your sale and making $25 less, and I'm sure I'll get the money back. So we take almost everything on trade because we want to give them a place to land it so they'll get used to coming to Bill's and buying their new stuff. We're not always willing for sale. The people that do trade-ins pretty much is me and Ernesto if I'm not here. So I'm pretty much a trade-in guy. Some of the guys, Nino takes his own. And so anyway, if you have a trade-in, you come find me first, or you come find Ernesto. Okay. They'll work on your trade-in price. And then your job, you don't have to do much. You can put even before you come get me or Ernesto, you can say, let me put this behind the counter for you. Let's go look at some guitars. And when you take a quick break, you can go, hey, this guy's looking at guitars. He's got a trade-in this time. And I'll know, and then we'll come look at it when the time comes. So as a salesman, go get them sold on something that they have trade-ins. Get the trade-in away from the deal as you can. Put it on the back behind the counter. Don't focus on the trade-in. Go sell them. Come get me. Come get Ernesto. we'll do our best to get a trade-in and make that sale happen for you. We put the trade-in the computer, we give the guy a credit for his trade-in price, and you go ahead and make your sale. He loves you, and maybe not love me, because my trade-in price wasn't what he wanted, but that's okay. So you're gonna take a lot of trade-ins. What do I do if my customer has a trade-in? Can we give a value by phone text? We never talk price over the phone, ever. Every single day, 10 times a day, I get a call. I got a Roland DR1, and I want to sell it. How much are you going to give it for me? We never, ever, ever talk price over the phone. Want to tell me why?
Because you don't know what it looks like.
Nope. I know what they all look like.
Well, like you don't know what condition it's in, is what I mean.
Partly, but that's not the answer.
This is so many reasons.
Because they'll hold you to it if you tell them.
Because I want them to come in.
Oh.
I want to get them in here.
No, that makes sense.
If they have a gibberish, a $200 piece or whatever it is, and they call me and say, "What are you going to give it to me?" I say, "Well, bring it in. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to look it over. I'm going to research it and all." But if I say $50, what's the next thing they're going to do most likely?
Call somebody
Call the
else.
next door.
Go somewhere.
They're going to call the next door. See if they'll give you 60. See if you can get 60 out. So we never, ever, ever talk trade-ins or sales over the phone pricing. We're just positive. Yep, bring it in. Can't wait to see it. Absolutely. But you got to get it in here to get a price. Some people get mad at me that I won't give them a price. I live 45 minutes away. I don't care if they live 450 miles away. I do not give them a price over the phone.
Yeah.
They want, because they want to sit home and just call all around and then go to the place with the biggest thing. That's more on selling than it is on trading in. People want the cash. But so I never give them a price over the phone. Never give any type of percentage of what I might do over the phone. Oh, we'll try to give you half of what you paid for it. I've heard, nothing. All's when it comes, when they're talking about their trade-ins, is just bring it in. Yes, we take them. We love taking them. Whatever you got, bring it in. But the whole goal when you got somebody, there's two goals when somebody's on the phone. A, sell them something over the phone. Send them a podium and get a sale. But B, if you can't do that, get them into the store. So, do I know when they have their trade-in price over the phone probably about what I'm going to pay for it? Yep, I bought it 20 times before. But I want to get them into the store. So that's why we don't ever talk pricing over the phone. When a customer asks for a discount, kind of went over that. Oh, this is a good one from Matthew. Should I sell the display item or find one in a box? Matthew, what's the answer to that?
The answer is you should always find the one in the box.
Always find one in a box.
And I know what my problem was at first is I'm trying to develop my sales skills, and one of the things I was trying to do is when they figure out what they want, I go, okay, let me go put this behind the counter so nobody thinks it's still for sale, and I should be checking to make sure that it's that we have more of it first.
Correct. If I'm out there selling something, first thing I do is run to the computer and see if I got more in a box. One, it's a lot easier to sell something in a box than it is out on display. So I want to know right in the back of my head real quickly, especially if it's expensive. I don't care so much about a $99 drum foot pedal. But if it's some keyboard you're looking at, it's $15.99. I like to know as soon as I can figure it out, do I have one in a box? Because they want it in a box every time. They don't have it in a box, you got to put it together, put it in the box, and deal with, is it the floor model? You really got the last one? They want one in a box. B, let's say you're selling a nice guitar and you got 6 of them downstairs and you got one on display, and you sell the nice guitar and it goes off the hook, and the guitar's different sometimes. Sometimes they want the guitar that they played. Keyboards are all the same. Drum sets are all the same. Guitar's a little different. But let's say it's a keyboard. Let's say I sell this nice $1,600 keyboard, and for some reason I decided to box it up and give one off the floor. What happens? You don't have one on display anymore. You're never going to sell another one because nobody knows that you don't have any on display. So you always want to pull from your back stock. Always pull from your back stock. We try to, on hot stuff, have plenty of back stock so you don't sell. But yeah, that's pretty important that you always want to see. So if you're looking at something, especially a high-tech piece, guitars don't matter a whole lot. They're going to buy the one they played for the most part. Drums don't matter a whole lot. We put them up.
Yeah, especially since
People
they
don't
can't
want to
even
build a
play
drum
it.
set anyway.
Yeah.
But high-tech things, pair of powered speakers, keyboards, maybe a high-end recording piece, know your back stock. Know, and just in general, know your stock, period. Look and see what, hope you guys get an email every day of stock that came in used. Read it so you know what you got. And if you don't know what the piece is, go figure it out. That way you can go out and sell a little easier. But knowing your stock is important. Know how many you have, know what you have, and those emails that shoot out every single day, incoming used gear or incoming new stuff, know it.
Yeah, sometimes I've sold something because somebody comes in and they're, they know what they want, but they don't know what we have. And I remember I just got an email
Yeah.
that morning about something we just got, and that's what they're looking for.
All right, discounting damaged inventory floor models. Well, me and Taylor just went through this as we just chatted about a little bit. And it happens sometimes. You get a guitar that somebody dropped and it's got a big gouge in it. So, do we have to deal with that a little bit? Yes. So, it's a case by case basis if you get one. Sometimes you'll see marked down, damage, crack in the headstock or something like that. Sometimes they just see it. And sometimes it's ridiculous. Sometimes they'll put out their flashlight and they'll have their magnifying glass and look for a little scrap they can get. We won't worry too much about that. But anyway, if you do get something that's damaged, yeah, sometimes we do have to make amends for that, just like we did the other day. What is a warranty setup? All right. George, know what a warranty setup is?
Any guitar over $400 gets the setup.
400.
I thought it was 5.
That's what I was
I've heard
told.
both.
When we went back there, I think they said 4.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, they were wrong.
There was a
Oh, is it?
disagreement
I
between
don't
4
know.
and 5.
We're still disagreeing, it sounds like. Maybe we better come to the
Ron
conclusion.
I've been
Says
told
it's
5,
4.
but I've
Yeah.
also been told that it's, they're not necessarily turning people away who
It
pay.
doesn't happen that often, so it doesn't make any difference. I thought it was 5, but whatever. So a warranty setup, and Ronnie does something in the back called a super tune. The super tune is when he goes over the whole guitar, takes the strings off, and he's pretty known for a super tune. It's about $100 job, and he goes through the frets and follows the frets and sets up the intonation and just down to the bottom. He goes just over the whole guitar, puts new clean strings on it, and people get a super tune. They think, oh my God, it's like my guitar plays new again. He's really, really good at it. It's not a cheap job. It's called a super tune. A warranty setup is about 1/10 of a super tune. Ronnie sprinkles a little holy water sometimes on the guitar, I think, and that's kind of one. But he will.
Said that.
But it's so you get 30 days after you buy a guitar. It's just a nice way of saying, yeah, and if there are any legitimate issues, maybe the guitar won't stay in tune and bridge things.
No
He'll go
worries.
over it again. It's not the same thing as like a fully blown super tune, but it's just a little extra that we offer, especially on an expensive guitar. We're not interested in somebody bringing their $99 used Strat they just bought, so Ronnie can go back there at $90 an hour, which is what his labor fee is, and spend 45 minutes setting it up. Not interested in that. But on a nicer guitar, we offer a warranty setup. Ronnie's very good. He's valuable, and so it's something we offer. It's not a full-blown super tune, but it's just a little add-on you can talk about. I don't bring it up because I don't want them to come back in, perfectly honest with you. But if they talk about it, what if it has a little this, a little this? You guys set it up here. You've heard them all in different ways. Say we do, and we do. The guys before they put them out, they tune them up, make sure they look pretty good. But you have 30 days. We say take it home, play it for a couple days. If there's anything you don't like or anything like that, bring it back. You got a month, and we're gonna take care of that for you, no charge. Just a way of basically helping you close your sale. Not because we're dying for everybody to bring their guitars back in 2 weeks, because we're not. But we'll do it. But it's a nice little helper, a little closer for you. What if a customer asks to throw items in? Try to avoid it. We didn't talk about selling accessory cables, straps, picks, and everything else for nothing. We want to sell those things, so try to throw it. Now sometimes you got a little sweetener, and if a guy's looking at this $1,500 guitar, and he says, "I'll buy it, but can you throw in a strap?" And I say to myself, "Well, it's $1,500. Like I'm one yes away on a $20 strap from making this sale. I might do it." So it costs you your perfect sale. And you and I haven't gone over the commission charts, but we will soon. But it'll cost you your perfect sale, but whatever. If you're happy, you can do it. For the most part, though, we're trying to sell accessories. You have to throw in a set of string. Maybe the strings are older on this. They're kind of black on this. All right, if it's an expensive guitar, you might throw it in. So sometimes you can be a little bit of a good guy. You try to avoid it, but if you're this close to a sale and you're one little set of strings or one cable away from making it, make it. However, you have to talk about it on your sales slip. You have to put it in and discount it for the price. So you can never just throw something in
Right.
and then just, here, hand them a cable. There you go. Take that cable. Don't worry about it. You can never, ever. That's a big no-no.
Screws the inventory. Yeah.
Well, it screws the inventory, but it's even worse than that. So we've had people over the years, especially when it's not, the inventory isn't as tight as it was, we throw you this in, they'll throw in maybe a $50 pedal, doesn't tell anybody, pay himself on a good sale, so those people aren't here anymore. So there's more than just screwing up the inventory, but yes, it screws up the inventory too. That's just as bad, but it's a way of cheating. Cheating's not allowed.
No.
So anyway.
It doesn't need to be. I mean, you really take care of us.
All right, what is the rent-to-rent program?
Rent to rent?
Rent-to-rent, that's right. Rent to Rent's a new program. I invented about a year ago. So you guys, I don't think any of you have done a rental yet. Maybe Matthew has. And so we went 3 different ways if you just want to rent something for the short term. Anybody tell me what they are?
The overnight or 1 to 3. Or is it
1 to 3 days.
1 to 3 days
Or
is
weekend, I call it.
15%.
Well, forget your percentages for a minute.
Okay, so
This
1 to 3 days, and then it is under 3 weeks.
No.
And
Anyone else want to take a shot at it?
The 3 days, the 2 weeks,
And
and
then
then a
a
month.
month.
That's right. You can rent three different ways. You can rent, most of our rentals are PAs or, whatever for the weekend. 1 to 3 days. Used to be, we had 1 day, then a weekend rental. But almost everybody wants it on, could get it on Friday and then
Mhm.
bring it back on Monday, their gig Saturday night. And we used to be open on Sunday. Now you can't bring it back on Sunday anyway. So we have a 1 to 3 day rental. Then you can rent for 2 weeks, or you can rent something for a month. We used to do a month-to-month rental, and we still do that on like the school band instruments, the flutes and the clarinets, the kids that need it each month. That's a different program that we'll probably get into at a later date. But if you want to rent something, the month-to-month rental, if it's just 1 to 3 days, and there's a sheet behind the counter that says the procedures you fill in, that's pretty easy. Now the percentages are 18% if you want to rent it for 1 to 3 days, 20% for 2 weeks, and 25% for a month. You'd never talk about your percentages. If they say how much is it to rent the guitar, you don't say 18%. You just don't. You say, okay, real quick, if you can do it in your head, if it's $500, what's 18% of $500? Well, that's 50 and 40 is $90. Or get out your calculator, do what you got to do. It's $90 to rent this for the weekend. Always talking real numbers. Never give away your in-house formulas, more or less. But at the end of the day, if they like it, the rental comes off, no matter how long they rent it for. So if they like whatever they buy, so if you got a guy that's out there, and of course it's got to be used, and they're not sure, and you're losing them, you think, you don't say, hey, you want to rent it for the weekend? See what you think? Say, if you rent this $500 guitar, it's $90 to rent it for the weekend. I said, if you don't like it, you bring it back and you're out $90, but you didn't make a $500 mistake if you ended up not liking it. Or if you do like it, no harm. You bring it in, they go for it $10. The
Cool.
$90 comes right off. So it's a nice
Okay.
way of letting them take it home and try it. If they say, well, if I don't like it, can I return it? No, you can rent it. And so it's called so a weekend rental is just a weekend rental. Then you have your 2 weeks and your 1 month rental, and that's really what a rent to rent is. So let's say the guitar for 2 weeks is 20% of that $500 guitar. That's $100. So you can rent that guitar for $100. We get their credit card information. We enroll it. Again, there's a little procedure you got to go through to make sure they're approved. But we enroll their credit card. So at the end of the 2 weeks, again, that guitar is due back. So if they want to buy it, the $100 comes off. They pay their $400 and they go. Or they just bring it back and that's it. It's over. Now if we don't see them, or if they choose to tell us, for 3 days after the rental's due, the rental automatically renews at half the price. So they can rent that guitar for another 2 weeks, but this time it's only $50. And they can rent it for as long as they want. Keep auto renewing it for $50 over and over and over and over again if they want. But the $100 is the only thing that comes off the price at the end. The first 100. So those $50 are not applying to the price. So you can, let's say you rent something for a month. Maybe you got a gig for a month or something like that, or somebody's in town for a month. And month's over, but they still like to have it for another couple weeks. Well, they just might extend it, at half the price. No big deal to do that. Again, if they're not intent on buying it, they'll extend it for half the price. Maybe at the end of the next month they do want to buy it. That's great. Except the only thing that comes off is the first month's rent. So it's not like your money's accumulating. It's not. So that's what's called a rent to rent. You're not renting to own it. You're renting to rent it. Okay, that's why we gave it that name. But again, your first month's worth of rent or your initial rent of anything you rent does come off. Rentals are great. We love rentals. You make pretty good money when you rent something too. So we like rents, and we had one church. They did a summer. They had a PA for a summer, and they rented this big PA for 5 months, and they just determined they didn't want to buy it. It was like, you want to buy it? You want to buy it? They didn't. They bought it back. So be it.
Wow.
And worked for us. But it was last summer. So anyway, that's your rent. Your rental is a great way of, some people just come and say, I need to rent a guitar. And for the most part, somebody's trying to buy something, you're not first saying, hey, let's rent it instead.
Right.
You're not interested in doing that. But if you losing it, and they're not sure, it's a great way of closing, hey, you want to try to rent it. They might do it, they might not. They might say, you know what, I'm going to take it. That option. But for the people who do come in, you got your weekend, you got your 2 weeks, you got your month. Have your percentages in your head, know what they are, don't blur them out, and then come up with your price. And then again, all their rent money, if they rent it at the end of the rental time, comes through. The 2 week and the month automatically renew. They do not automatically renew on a weekend. If you rent it for Friday, you rent it for PA, it's due back on Monday. What else we got? How do I talk about financing? We don't. We've already done. We don't comes in for the next one. What is Bill's return policy? We don't have one.
It's an exchange
Nope.
policy.
It really isn't. So I'll let you show me on the receipt where it says you can exchange it. But you can look all day, you're not gonna find it.
Right.
I'll be right back.
Are you guys getting those emails? Oh, I guess I should pause this.
I don't believe so.
They'll be